it's about time I give this Monstera Albo an upgrade. So this is a Monstera Albo I actually got as a cutting from a friend of mine, I want to say 2 years ago. And this was its original leaf, and it finally has given up and it's starting to yellow down here. I've had this in this, I want to say this size. This is about a little bit bigger than a 6-inch planter for about more than a year. And I can't wait to show you, but the roots are already growing through the bottom. It's growing season now, so I want to repot it in a bigger size. That way it can bounce back during the warmer season, get all the light and the warm weather that it needs to get ready and give some new growth, hopefully this season. A few things I want to do before I get started. I got to mix up my soil. So I just use regular organic potting mix from Home Depot. Kellogg's, I believe is the brand. And then I add some, what do I add? I add a special orchid bark mix, which includes these big chunks of orchid bark. Also includes some charcoal, extra perlite, and then I add more perlite on top of it. So I really like an extra chunky mix, especially for my monsteras and actually for a few of my other plants too. So mix this together. Pretty good here. Next, so currently it's in an 8-inch, what is it? It's an 8-inch planter. So I'm gonna go ahead and move it into a 10-inch planter. So that way it has a little bit more room to grow. But I have to drill some holes into it because right now there's no drainage holes. And it's important, gotta have those drainage holes. If you have one of these plastic nursery pots, it's super easy to add drainage. All you need is to just get a drill bit. I'm gonna go for the big size. I don't know what size is this, 3/8. And I'm just gonna go ahead and drill a few holes to add some more drainage to this guy. Here we go. Done. So super easy. One, just gonna repeat that a bunch more times now. All right, and that's a lot better. A few cracks, but no big deal. As long as there's a lot more holes, so that way the water can drain properly all the way through the pot when I'm watering. All right, now let's go ahead and show you those roots. I probably should have put this mat down as I was drilling the pot to keep the work area a little clean, but oh well. All right, here we go. All right, so again, I want to say it's been, like a full, more than a year. This guy has been in here. I've had it in this self-watering pot. Look at that. The roots are going through the bottom. Here we go. Yeah, time for an upsize. So I'm gonna try my best to see where these roots are coming from and see if I can, I don't want to chop them off. I'm gonna see if I can maybe just cut some of the parts at the bottom here, so that way maybe it makes it a little bit bigger and easier to slide those roots through. Also, I've guided all of the aerial roots just back into the pot to give it some more support. So we'll see what everything else looks like. I should probably take this stick off, this stake. I'm also gonna upgrade it from this bamboo pole. I'm finally gonna give it a proper moss pole and show you what that looks like later. Take this off, there you go. All right, this is good. So this is where it's stuck here at the bottom. So I got one root going through here. That'll be easy to pull out. It's this guy. This is a thick one. So I'm gonna see if I can just cut through here. A little bit more wiggle room to squeeze the roots out now. Yeah, we'll try it. All right, let me, ooh, this is big. They've got some thick roots here, so I'm just gonna loosen it up just a little bit. That's pretty good right here, and hopefully now the new roots will start growing downward, so because now it'll have a little bit more room to grow. That's it, look at that, big root ball. This is the new moss ball. I'm gonna put it in. So I love this. This is from actually Mossify. I love this because it has a heavy base at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and directly plant this at the bottom, because sometimes I've had moss balls before, and because either the stick inside is so skinny and it doesn't have this big heavy base at the bottom, it just flops all over the place. So it's nice that this has this thick base at the bottom. I'm gonna cover that with soil, so that way it gives it some more support, and then that way the moss ball doesn't wiggle too much. New things I'm adding to all my repots: arbor soil and root food, and all-purpose fertilizer. Say hi. 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 We're gonna sprinkle this to the soil. This gives the soil a little bit more nutrients to keep those roots healthy. And I'm also gonna spray a little bit more directly right to the roots of the plant. And then all-purpose fertilizer, just gonna mix it in. Stomp, smash, smash, smash. Reusable Velcro strips to just attach it onto my moss pole. I will have one later.
But you have to try one, just one piece.
Okay, is it good?
Okay.
One piece. Let me try one. See if it's good.
Go.
Oop, feed. And that is it. Much better. More room to grow also. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the shower, soak up all the leaves, soak up that moss pole, and make sure the soil's fully wet, fully drenched. Now the fun part after every repot, or maybe not the so fun part, but I actually do like cleaning up my mess. Here we go. Now, after I've soaked it, I'm gonna go ahead and treat it with some insecticide from Arbor. This treats against mites, such as thrips, aphids, and whiteflies. And I've noticed there was a little bit of browning, especially on the new leaves of my Monstera Albo. So it had a little bit of thrips problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this whole thing, front and the back, the stems of the leaves, with some of that insecticide. So I completely forgot to do an outro once I was finished. So this is 2 weeks later. And so far, my Monstera Albo is doing great in its new home. And how do you know that? There's some new growth already. She is gorgeous in this new home. So as you can see here, this little browning on your leaves, if you have browning on your leaves like this, and if you take a look at the back here, and here, that is caused due to thrips. So that's why I sprayed that insecticide. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray it down again and just monitor it. This was the latest leaf that it just pushed out. A little bit of variation in that corner, but happy plant, because look at that, a brand new leaf coming out. Woohoo. I have it placed in this rotating planter because I actually keep it in a west facing window right in the corner. So anytime guests are not here, I have all the leaves facing towards the window because I want the leaves to grow towards the light. So they're all facing one direction. But when guests are here, I want to have the leaves facing inside our home. So that way they can see all the leaves and the variegation on it. What's great about this rotating planter, check it out. Look at that. It just slides. It's so smooth. It's like a lazy Susan at the bottom here. But you can pick this up at Target if you're interested. It comes in 3 different colors also, in this white, cream, a black, and a smaller green size. But yeah, look at this. That's such a cool feature. If you follow me on Instagram, I had planted it in this little gray plastic planter, and I was asking, did a little poll and asked if some of you guys thought this would bother you because the plastic planter sticks out on the top and doesn't fit flush, or inside it's not a little bit shorter, and goes in the pot, so you'll be able to see it, if this would bother you or not. And I decided, for just the purpose of how big the plant is, it would be much easier to keep that that plastic planter a little bit taller, so easier for me to grab and take out when I do need to water it. So I could just grab it by the lip here, take it out. Ooh, it's a heavy one. Yeah. And then when I'm done, easily put it back in, because I felt like if I cut it at the top, it would be a lot more difficult to take out the plant, and then I'd be always pulling at the stem or the moss pole, and I didn't want to do that. So done with this guy. What's next? I'm gonna go ahead and repot, actually 2 things, because it's still growing season. I have a big Monstera Tycon that I still need to repot and upsize and stake. And then I'm gonna do a little maintenance on one of my other Monstera Albos that's not doing so hot. So stay tuned for those videos coming up. Happy planting, everybody.